So you may not be thinking it right now, but what if I told you building weapons in Delta Force is actually quite simple? Now, truth be told, there are a bunch of different weapons in the game. For each weapon, there's about 8 to 10 attachment slots, and for each attachment slot, there's another 8 to 20 options. If you did the math on that, that's going to boil down to hundreds of millions, if not billions of combinations. What's up everyone, welcome back, and if you're new here, my name's Zen. I've been posting content for Delta Force since day one of the closed access, so I was one of the first people to upload weapon guides, level up tutorials, and generally just content to try to help my viewers get better at the game and maybe learn a few things. And whether you play on controller, PC, mouse and keyboard, mobile, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. I'd love to have you guys be part of the community, help grow the channel, and have some fun together, alright? Now, I've done this video 2 times already, so this is going to be the 3rd time I've done this video, but it's about due for an update. And so in this video, we're going to be talking about the thought process that I go through when I go to build my weapons. And essentially what we're going to be doing is going through each attachment slot and talking about the 2 paths you can kind of go down with each attachment, okay? So let's just get into the video. That's enough talking. Alright guys, so step 1, when you go to build your weapon in Delta Force, what you want to have is a mental idea of how you want to play. You need to define your play style. And this can change match to match, day by day, but whatever you're feeling for the build, just make sure you're aware of that. That way, when you go to pick each attachment, you won't make a mistake. Each attachment will support your goal and your play style. So now that we have that figured out, let's say for this video, my goal is just a general mid-range AR, right? 20 to 50 meter range, right? And we're gonna be using the CAR 15 today, okay? By the way, this build will be down in the description. So mid-range AR, that's our goal. This thought process is what I use on SMGs. It's what I use on bolt actions. It's what I use on ARs. But obviously in this game, each gun class kind of has different attachments. So like the SMG has a few attachments that the AR doesn't have and vice versa. So you just keep that in mind. And the other thing to consider is there's warfare and operations. Those are 2 distinct game modes, 2 completely different play styles. There's different maps, there's different metas. Just be aware of that, but this is just a general guide for the logic on how to build weapons, okay? So starting off with attachment number 1, we're going to do the barrel. Okay, the barrel is going to be the single most impactful attachment on basically every weapon in the game. So essentially you have option A is going to be extending the range of your weapon, and then option B is going to be focusing on CQC in closer range engagements. This is very important. One thing to be considerate of is the nerfs. So the nerfs are shown in red. This hurts our handling quite a bit. So my main goal with every build is, whether it's CQC or long range, it's how can I get the maximum range without hurting my handling too much, okay? Now, going into muzzles, option A for muzzles is going to be control-focused muzzles. So stuff like your compensators, your muzzle brakes, these are going to help with recoil, and specifically your spray pattern right here. It's gonna help align this to be as vertical as possible. If you guys want a better guide on how to understand recoil management and get really comfortable with spraying weapons in Delta Force, check out the video on screen right now after this one, and that video will show you how to spray weapons in Delta Force, okay? And then option B is going to be flash hiders right here. So the flash hiders help with stability and control. So you kind of can pick and choose with that. Now, I will say if I had to pick 3 muzzles in the game, my top 3 muzzles, 1, it's going to be the Whisper silencer for ARs, okay? This helps with range and control. The equivalent silencer for SMGs is the SMG Echo Suppressor, okay? And then aside from that, I'm gonna go with the Bastion right here. Horizontal recoil control is something you wanna minimize as much as possible. And if you're looking to help with vertical control, the Sandstorm is great. And then lastly, I'm gonna go with either the Spiral Flash Hider or the Poseidon Flash Hider. Those are both very good, and I'm a big fan of the Flash Hiders in this game. I also did a video covering Muzzle Flash. I'll put that on screen right now if you guys are wanting to better understand that. And so for the sake of this video, I think we're just going to throw on the Spiral Flash Hider. I love this one. Next up, we'll go into magazines. So this is again dependent on your build. So magazines are quite simple, and it's option A, which is like your default 30 mag, and then option B is going to be your extended mag, so your 45s, your 60, your 50 mags, whatever. Me personally in Delta Force, I think the reload times are insanely quick on the 30 mag, 2.1 seconds. So I personally feel it's more valuable to run the 30 mag and not take take a nerf to your stats than have an extra 15 bullets. And as you can see, it kind of hurts. If you hate reloading or feel like you need an extended mag, go for it. But I think for the sake of this build, we're gonna go with the handling. And then the mag mount you just throw on because it's free. There's no reason not to. So rear grips and Delta Force. Grips are actually kind of an all-rounder. There's a grip for every single stat. So like if you want an all-around grip, the AR heavy, it actually adds a secondary slot. So if you equip this, you get a second buff with it. And as you can see, it just does a net positive. So the AR heavy is a really good all-around grip. The invasion's really good because control and handling, and +3 for both is great. If your gun feels a bit slow, this Phantom rear grip is good, but it will make your gun more unstable, and stability is kind of visual movement when you're spraying, so it makes everything feel a bit more shaky. So just be aware of that. And as you can see, there's really a grip that can buff anything. So grips are an all-rounder. It's something you kind of just want to try and test out in the range, put one on, give it a spray, but make sure it supports that goal that you have. And for this build right here, I think we're going to go with the invasion. I just love the invasion so much. It's really good. Stock kits overall, I don't think they're that good. If I was going to run one, it would be the Resonant 2. It helps hip fire a lot, handling and control. So that's more focused towards CQB. I just don't think the restricted zone is worth it. For regular stocks, this Spec Ops stock is really good. And again, stocks are another attachment like rear grips. You can kind of find a stock that will buff anything. So like the buffer tube, it helps handling and accuracy. The practical stock, control and stability. Skeleton does handling and stability. You kind of just got to go through the stocks and find one that supports the goal of your playstyle. So for this build, we're going for that mid-range. Ideally, we could use the Spec Ops, but to help us out and get a little bit more better ADS time, we're going to go with the Shadow Buffer Tube, all right? So that's going to be installed right there. Now, next up for optics. Optics, option A is going to be your 1X, red dots, your aim comps, whatever, your reflex sights. And then option B is going to be your zoomed optics. And one thing to be aware of, the more magnification there is on your optic, the more recoil and harder you're going to have to pull down, okay? Due to the magnification. Don't forget, you can go to calibrate up top and you can minus your zoom by a quarter. So instead of it being a 2x, now it's a 1.75, which will mitigate the visual recoil of the magnification a bit. So you can still have a higher zoom optic, but tone it down a little bit if it's hard for you to control with recoil. Really what boils down to the red dots is your color preference of the dot. For this video, we'll just throw on the green dot right there. Underbarrel grips, next up. So underbarrel grips basically boil down. Option A for the grips is to help control, and then option B is going to be kind of focused for handling and accuracy, which is hip fire. So kind of the same as the barrels. Option A for the barrels is range and control. Option A for the grips is control. So they kind of complement each other like that. And then option B for the barrels is going to be like CQB stuff. Option B for the grips is also going to be CQB. So you can either mix and match them or combine them together to just stack those buffs. Personally, I kind of like to combine them together. So we know we're going for the range build here. Starting off with the one at the top, RKO is awesome for vertical control and there's no negatives to it. K1 Elite is equivalent to the RKO, but it's for horizontal control. And if you're looking for a best of both worlds, this phase grip is great as well. It does a bit of control, handling, stability. The angled grip right here, it's really good for control, really good for hip fire. So if you kind of want like, I don't know, a mid-range that can hip fire but still laser when you're aiming down sight, this is a great option. For ADS time, this angled hand stop is really good. Me personally, my top favorite is going to be RKO vertical, K1 Elite horizontal, phase combat for just kind of a all-around aggressive build. The prison hand stop is great. Secret Order bevel is great for horizontal. It's the best for horizontal, but it hurts your vertical, so you got to keep that in mind. Whereas the K1 Elite is great for horizontal. It doesn't do anything to vertical, so keep that in mind. And this folding grip is also very great for stability and things like that. I think we'll try out the K1 Elite in the range, and then if we don't like it, we may switch to the prism or the folding grip. But so now we pretty much have everything put on there, and we saved the rail systems, the patches for last for a specific reason. So when you go and look at these patches, they essentially just do a buff to any of the 4 main attributes. So control, handling, stability, accuracy. You really kind of want to just take a look at your build and see what you're lacking. And for this build, we could add a bit more stability. So let's throw on 2 of these just to get some extra stability. Of course, if you like lasers, you can throw a laser light on there. We're not going to be doing that on this build. A few more stability right there. And this side we'll do some extra handling buff. Things going to be pretty insane. Boom. And then right there, we'll go another stability. So when we look at our stats, this is pretty cracked. 74 control, 68 handling, 60 stability. It's got 35 meters of range and 633 muzzle velocity. Keep in mind, this isn't even calibrated yet. So we can hop into the range and give this thing a try. Let's see how it does here. So let's calibrate this thing now. With barrels, I usually just like to max out because you get extra range and muzzle velocity. Right here, weight, extra control, and then thickness, I'll do a little bit, like a medium kind of buff to it. Stock, we're gonna max out, so extra control, and we're gonna max out for extra firing stability. Rear grip, we're gonna go extra control to about 3.2, and then stability while moving right about there. And then optic, I like to zoom in a little bit. We're gonna do 0.1, and let's give that a try now. Feels pretty good. So I'm thinking either the prism hand, or I think we might check out the folding grip here. Let's see what's up with that. Folding grip, we'll go ahead and get the extra control. We'll do like 8 and then ADS movement speed right there. All right, let's check it out. Thing feels pretty deadly. One thing I want to try right here, swapping out, I want to see what's up with this AR MOE right here. Extra control, stability while moving, and then I also want to see, maybe we do one boom and one more, swap these out real quick. It's like that, see what's up with it. Oh yeah. That feels really good. Yep, that's it right there. This feels nasty. So this build's gonna be in the description. Let me know if you guys liked this video, if it helped you in any way, what kind of videos you want to see with Delta Force. I'm looking at my dog right now. He's passed out on my bed and just started moving. Scared me for a second. But either way, guys, thanks for watching the video. Be sure to share anything in the comments. If you have any extra tips or things to add to this video, share with the community. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.